Good morning. I know it's a Saturday morning, so we might not expect as many people on here as we normally do. I'm having a homesteader hair day again today, so don't mind my super cool HOA hat, which I think we still have some more in the store. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for everybody to get on. Yesterday, YouTube sent a notification out late. So we're going to wait a couple minutes for some people to get on before we get started. In the meantime, I love seeing where you guys are from, what you're doing. So if you throw up in the live chat where you are, even if you've told me before what you're doing today, where, you know, what you're looking forward to with the series today and what you've learned the most from the series, we would love to know in case we ever do this again. Learning about gardening and homesteading is an ongoing skill that you have to learn, even us, even those of us who've been doing it for years. So definitely let us know what you are learning and what you want to learn that we haven't covered yet this week. As always, the link for everything is in the description of this video. The link, we have the full schedule up in the description today since today is the last day. We do have a How to Grow Your Own Food series playlist here on our channel. I do have to add yesterday's to that playlist, and I'll be adding today's to the playlist as well. You can go back and watch these videos anytime. They are free. They are completely free unless for some reason one of the YouTube collaborators takes down their video. So it's not, there's no gimmick. There's no, okay, you've watched it for a week, now you have to buy it type deal, which isn't a gimmick. I mean, that's how people make money here in homesteading, but we're not doing that right now. Permaculture design and regenerative agriculture. That's a good one. We've been thinking about that one. So just make sure you check out all the links and the schedule and the playlist. All right, so let's see. We have Virginia. We have a lot of people in Virginia doing this. That's awesome. Adams County, Ohio, Central Florida, Oklahoma, Central Indiana, canning bone broth. Oh, I have a video about that, by the way, canning bone broth. Western New York. Oh my goodness, Becca. I hope you guys are faring well. Okay, so today is the final day for the How to Grow Your Own Food series. I'm kind of sad I'm not going to be spending time with you guys every morning. It's really neat to see where you're from and what you're doing. But let me tell you what we're talking about today. So today on this channel, we're just going to run through very informally right here how to start your garden. A lot of people are learning from the garden videos and they're like, oh my gosh, where do I begin? So we're going to chat about that here a little bit. Then you're going to head over to AJ Farms, which is the Homestead Evolution channel, and they're going to talk about raising quail. For those of you that were looking for a meat source, that you couldn't raise something big, or you didn't want to raise rabbits, or you can't raise chickens, quail is a great option for you. AJ Farms comes to conference every year. They're a sponsor of this year's conference, so head over there and check that out. Growing berries. Common Sense Home is talking about growing berries on your homestead. A lot of people wild forage for berries, but you can actually just grow them where you are. Melissa K. Norris is with us again, and she's going to talk about starting a mini orchard. I will for sure be watching that one. The Prairie Homestead is with us today talking about how to make butter. If you might remember, she posted that video earlier the week. But do go over there and watch how to make butter. A lot of us can't find butter right now. So if you can find heavy cream or have a milk source of your own, you can make your own butter very easily. VW Family Farms is with us today, and they are talking about the larger side of raising beef. They're talking about the larger side of raising meat. They're talking about raising beef cattle today. I got distracted. I was reading curb appeal, agroforestry, food forest. Those are all great ideas. And yes, I would love to do a live stream every morning, but I think my 9-month-old would like disown me. And then finally, I'm over on my channel again this week talking about just a very simple how to direct sow carrots and potatoes and simple root vegetables. Now is kind of the time to do that. So if you are interested in doing that, definitely go over and watch that video because you'll be needing to do that soon. If you haven't checked out all of the other videos this week, they are in the description, like I said before. But today here, we are going to just talk about very briefly starting a garden. A lot of people are watching these videos and they're like, this is great, but where in the world do I get started? And I do believe that Melissa K. Norris talked about this a little bit in one of her videos. You basically need to sit down and make a list of the things that your family eats. What does your family eat? If they only eat green beans, carrots, and potatoes, but they don't eat things like eggplant, cucumbers, and squash, then you don't need to grow those things. You don't have to grow all of the things. So your first step is trying to figure out what you want to grow. And then the second step is figuring out, well, how much room do you have to grow in? And then you can finalize what you want to grow. So this week you've seen people talk about raised garden beds, vertical gardening. If you've not checked out Life on Beagle Road's vertical gardening video, you should. It's definitely great for people who don't have any space at all to grow. So you can actually grow up instead of out. We are, you can check out those different types of gardening methods that we've talked about this week, and then make your decision on what seeds you want to grow, how much space you have, and then get started. So right now here on the East Coast, the central East Coast, we've already started seeds. We've already gotten root vegetables in the ground. You might be in an area where you still have snow, which is unheard of, but it's totally possible. And so you would need to look at your own zoning map and figure out when you need to start seeds. I don't think I have it with me. Clyde's Garden Planner. We have some misprints on the website actually for like really cheap. If you want to buy a Clyde's Garden Planner, you can get that. That will help you tremendously. Figure out when you're supposed to plant seeds outside or inside. And if you don't have time to plant seeds and a lot of the seed places are getting low on stock, you can just buy plants from your local home goods store, home renovation store like Lowe's, Home Depot, or even find people locally. A lot of people locally have extra plants for sale. I was actually going to do that this year, but I did not have time. So Kelsey Gardner said it would be like me and buy everything and grow everything. Tanya just plowed her garden Thursday afternoon. Oh, it snowed last night in northern Utah. 80 degrees. That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. So, so you pick your seeds, you pick your space and your size of space, and then you just plant. And I know that sounds kind of like, oh, great, Amy, this is just like the best advice you could have given us. But the reality is that you really won't know how you're going to do until your first year. Yes, you could amend your soil. Yes, I recommend you adding compost or manure, which you can buy at the store by the bagful, by the way, from like Lowe's again, or Home Depot, or your local farm store, and kind of till it in or put it into your raised beds or your vertical gardening space. But then you really just have to plant. A lot of seed packages have the information that you need to know on the outside of the package, but I also recommend you get the Clyde's Planner so you know when you're supposed to be planting. Yes, like Hilton Gardner said, it's trial and error. I know people who planted a garden the first year and they did amazing the first year. I'm not one of those people. I planted a garden the first year. I lost all my potatoes. When I say lost, that means I couldn't find them. I had no idea that I was supposed to plant potatoes in mounds. And my dad was a gardener. And I remember telling him that I couldn't find my potatoes. And he goes, well, did you mound them? I'm like, mound them? And he's like, yeah, did you make big mounds and dig a trench and put the potato? I'm like, no, I just dug a hole and stuck the potato in the ground. Don't do that, because then you'll never find them. You'll be digging up your whole yard trying to find potatoes like I did. So that's why I should have told that story in my potato video today, but I didn't think about it. So, it's trial and error. It's learning as you go. It's reading, lots and lots of reading. You can watch videos all day long, and that's great if you're a visual learner. But if you're a more analytical learner, or whatever the right word is for that, reading and then reading it again is really going to help you a lot. Invest in gardening books, invest in different homesteading books that are specifically tailored to gardening, and it will be really, really good for you. My first year with 50 varieties of tomato, 50 varieties of tomatoes. Wow. Got mowed down by deer. Yeah, that's another thing. You know, if you are out in an open space like we are this year, our new property has wide open space, and that's where we're planting our garden. And I have a funny feeling we're probably going to lose a lot of it to deer. So that's something to think about. Do you need to buy electric fencing, which you can get from Premier One Supplies? They have an awesome selection. It's okay to fail. In other words, it's really okay to fail. You're going to get something. It might not be enough to can thousands of jars of food, but you're going to get something, and that's worth it. Don't give up just because you fail. Okay, because you're going to fail at something eventually, and that's just how gardening goes. Even 10 years from now, you might plant something and fail miserably. I know a few years ago, we had historic flooding here in Virginia. It was just crazy amounts of rain, and we lost almost all of our garden. We lost all of our tomato plants. We lost a lot of our pepper plants and our potatoes because it was so wet that they just rotted in the ground. So every new year brings something different. We're actually working on a product right now, can't tell you quite about it yet, that is going to help every homesteader. You keep track of their years, go back and reference past years and think, okay, if the weather is like this weather is reminding me of 5 years ago when I did this or this or that. Keep a garden journal, keep a garden planner. Like I said, we're working on a really awesome product right now for HOA that we're hoping to have out way before conference, so we can market it to everybody if they want to get ready for next year. But we'll definitely have it at conference too. But it's just important to keep track of everything, especially your first year. So after you pick your seeds in your garden spot, keep track of it all. Write down in a calendar, even just a cheap calendar from Target or Walmart. Okay, today I planted this, which means you're going to fast forward 30, 60, 90 days and write down, okay, so now I need to harvest it. That's really going to be helpful. For years, I didn't do that. For years, I would just throw stuff into the ground and then be like, I think I might need to harvest it now, but I'm not sure. So don't do that. Don't be Amy. Write down when you planted it. Skip ahead right while you're there and right when you're supposed to harvest it. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't harvest a little earlier or a little later. It will all depend on the weather, but at least you know around about time to harvest, especially for things like root vegetables that you really can't see. Like tomatoes, you can go out and say, oh, I need to pluck a tomato off the vine. But potatoes and carrots and radishes and turnips, those things, they don't. All right, let's see. We're killed a gardener, need a crossbow. Yeah. So actually, beside our property, our new property, just a couple properties over, is a pumpkin patch. And he actually has a license to harvest deer all year long because of his pumpkin patch. So maybe he'll keep down the deer for us. I don't know. Good morning from Northeast Indiana. Our first garden at this home was terrible, but we learned a few things. Last year was better. Yeah. So you get better every year. My hope is that people don't have the bug to garden this year and then they're like, well, it didn't work, so it's not going to work, so I'm not going to do it next time. No. You will get better every single year and it will be amazing. There's so much. You feel like you've accomplished something the more you get into it, and it's really empowering. Jim Fuller says, I never thought I would want to pay dues to an HOA. Yeah, we get that a lot. But it's kind of fun, right? It's fun that we fight HOAs because they don't let chickens in gardens and all that stuff. And then our little acronym is HOA. So, all right. Well, go check out this week's videos. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section of this video. Today is the last day. It was so nice to have every morning with you guys in this live stream. It's so neat to see people from across the world joining us. I mean, we've had people from everywhere join this series, and that alone should encourage you to encourage others to want to live a homesteading lifestyle, or even just kind of take control of your food system in a more sustainable way. A lot of people's goal isn't to be 100% self-sustainable. It's to be 20% or 50% self-sustainable. And that's awesome too. And the thing is, we are so many generations removed, some of us, from learning how to do this. And so this is why we're doing it. We want to encourage you to do it. We want to teach you how to do it. There are not enough hours in the day for us to do that, unfortunately, but we can give you glimpses and tidbits of information that you can take and then run with it and research more and learn more. So we are just so happy that you've joined us and that you're learning. And we hope that you share it with others. We hope that you encourage others to garden this year and raise your own livestock, and no matter where you live. No matter where you live. I hope that we've proved that at this point this week, that it doesn't matter where you live, a small location or a large location. You can grow something or raise something anywhere. And if you can't, then there's always more land in the world that you can buy. You can buy an acre in some places for super duper cheap, even if it's just right up the road from you, and garden there or put animals on it, and it's absolutely attainable. So thank you for joining us this week, guys, and we hope that you will join us for the 2020 Homesteaders of America Conference in October. As of right now, it is still on. We are not expecting to be impacted, but you never know how the world can go right now. And if it is impacted, then we will have a virtual online event, and I will be seeing you again virtually. All right, guys, hope you have a great day and happy homesteading.